Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be discussing the next topic in our first unit, which is the structure and the functions of the cell, which comes under the cellular level of organizations. Today we will be learning how to draw the cell structure and how to label it and how to learn the functions. And whenever there is a question which includes diagram in it, it is better to focus completely on diagram rather than the theory part, because the examiner only loves to see the diagram which you draw rather than the theory which you write. So it is better to focus more on diagrams rather than the theory. So let's get started with our video. Let's draw the structure of a cell. It's better you take a pen paper, start along with me. Let's draw together so that drawing doesn't feel hard. We will start with the outline of a cell. Once after drawing this, I will be telling the labeling. Getting the outline is more important in a diagram. Now we have drawn the nucleus. Put some dots on this, because even they will be having some separate labeling. Draw these structures. Try to fill these. Let's draw one more structure, which is mitochondria. I think everyone knows about this. Even this has some other cell organelles inside it. Draw this, try to join all of them. Now let's try to label this. So this structure, the one which is outside the wall, we'll call it as a flagellum, and this will be useful for the movement. Then we have this structure is called as the secretory vesicle. The name itself says that it will be useful for secreting things. We also have some small ribosomes. These are ribosomes. Now this is the nucleus. What does the nucleus do? They are useful for storing the cell genetic material. They are also useful for performing different types of cell activities, like cell division, growth, metabolism. They will be involving in that actions. And next is we also have chromatin in it. So this part is called as the chromatin. So chromatin is something that is useful for organizing, protecting and regulating. For that it is useful. And next we have the small pores. These pores are present on this, which are called as the nuclear pore. They are called as the nuclear pore. What does this nuclear pore do? That is useful for exchanging the materials between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. So what is cytoplasm? This area is called as cytoplasm. What does the cytoplasm do? This is a place where most of the cellular activities will be taking place. So that is cytoplasm. Then here the middlemost one, will call it as the nucleolus. We'll call it as the nucleolus. What does this nucleolus do? That is useful for producing the ribosomes. Now come to the next structure. So these green structures, will call it as the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is specially used for the protein synthesis, and the ribosomes which are present on it are also useful for protein synthesis only. Then these red colored structures, they are called as the Golgi complexes. This Golgi complex is useful for distributing the various proteins, lipids, or it is used in the modification. It will be useful for packaging. For example, so packing into the vesicles. So in that, this Golgi apparatus will be used. Then we have small stick like structures are there, which will be called as the microfilaments. They are called as microfilaments. What does this microfilaments do? They will be useful for providing the cell shape. They will be providing the support. They are helpful for the movement. Then this structure is called as mitochondria. Mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell. So that means it is useful for generating the ATP. It provides the energy to that particular cell. Then we have some small molecules which is called as the peroxisome. Peroxisome is especially useful for removing harmful substances. Any harmful substances will be removed by this peroxisome. Then we have this dark green colored structures. We are taking it as the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. They are also useful for the synthesis of lipids and also remove some harm materials. Now this structure, this is called as the lysosome. Lysosome is something that is useful for digesting the waste materials, and it is also sometimes used in the process of apoptosis. Apoptosis is nothing but the programmed cell death. So for that the lysosome will be useful. Then this outermost membrane, we will be calling it as the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is useful for the protection of the cell. It is useful, it will be regulating the movement of the substances to go in and out. For that the plasma membrane is useful. Then we also have one other part which is called as the centrosome. Centrosome is helpful for the cell division. Centrosome is helpful for the cell division. Then we have some extendings from the cell, which we will be calling it as the microvilli. Microvilli is specially useful for increasing this surface area. We also have some intermediate filaments as well. These intermediate filaments will be giving the mechanical strength to that particular cell. And the last one is the cytoskeleton. So this part will be calling it as the cytoskeleton. That is specially useful for providing the shape, support, and also helps in the movement of the cell. So this is the complete labeling of the cell, the diagram and the different functions. I hope you have noted every function which I have said. So that's all about the complete structure and functions of the cell. If this question is there in the exam, if you draw this diagram, label this correctly, and if you write the functions which I have said now, then that is more than enough for this answer. So that's all for this video. If you like the video, please do like, share, comment, and do subscribe. And if you have any suggestions to improve the explanation in my videos, please do comment so that I can change it in my next video. So that's all for this. Thank you for watching.